Oyez, oyez, oyez. The Space Court is now in session. We are pleased to welcome you on behalf of the International Institute of Space Law to the orientation video for the 2023 IISL Manfred Lachs Space Law Moot Court Competition. You will hear from representatives of the IISL Moot Court Committee, all 5 regional organizers, including myself, as well as the winners of the 2021 competition.
Hello, everyone. My name is Stephen Freeland. I am now about to become the chair of the Moot Court Committee, supported by some wonderful co-chairs from all over the world. I welcome you to this information seminar regarding the 2023 Manfred Lachs International Space Moot Court Competition. It's an incredible competition. We're now in the 31st year, and this will be the 32nd edition of the competition. It began in 1992 with 2 teams, and we're now approaching and sometimes exceeding 100 teams from around the world, embracing 5 regional areas. North America, Europe, Asia Pacific, Africa, and Latin America. It is the premier moot court competition in the world dealing with space, and it has the incredible honor of the final, which is held every year at the International Astronautical Congress, the final being judged by 3 sitting judges from the International Court of Justice. Can you imagine? Can you imagine making the final and arguing in front of 3 sitting judges? Well, it happens every year, and that will certainly be the case. The final of the 2022 competition will be held in Paris in later this month. And the 2023 competition, the world final, will be in Baku in Azerbaijan. So how exciting would that be? To get there, of course, we first have to have the 5 regional rounds. Each of those regional rounds are hosted by institutions, are organized and managed by regional organizers who themselves are supported by a great number of people from the International Institute of Space Law and volunteers, and of course the Moot Court Committee that I chair. So I welcome you. I hope you'll find this seminar of interest. It will show you what an incredible opportunity this moot court competition is in terms of allowing you as participants to learn more about international law, about the laws governing outer space, how advocacy works, how to deal with tricky and sometimes probing questions from judges, how to be able to speak on your feet, how to be able to argue sometimes complex areas of law in a persuasive and didactic manner, how to engage, how to have fun. There are so many aspects to this competition, and we really welcome you. We hope that you will consider participating. Of course, the ideal for the competition will be that all regional rounds will be held in person. Over the past couple of years, for reasons that are obvious, we have been hamstrung in that regard, and various elements of the competition have been held virtually. But it's certainly the intention of the IISL and all the regional organisers that, subject of course to the prevailing conditions and health advice, it's certainly our intention to have in-person rounds across the world, across those 5 different regions. They will all take place at various times in the first part of 2023. Those details in terms of the exact dates and locations are being finalised, and they will be put on the IISL website as soon as possible. The 5 regional winners will themselves then, as I said, compete in the World Finals, which, as I said, next year will be held in Baku. And the winning 2 teams out of those 5 in those preliminary World Finals will advocate in front of the ICJ judges. As you may know, the problem for the 2023 competition is already out and available. It was released during August. So please have a look at that and get starting to work on it in your teams. As I said, details for your particular regional round will be made available as soon as possible on that website. So I encourage you to look at the IISL Moot Court website on a regular basis as updates come over the coming weeks. And then that will allow you to register and have access to all of the details about the competition as they are finalised. So let me leave it at that. You'll hear during this presentation from the regional organisers, you'll hear a lot about other aspects of the competition, but really it's an incredible opportunity. It's great fun. You will grow, you will learn so much. And indeed, from a CV perspective, participating in this highly prestigious competition is a real positive. And we hope that it will help to excite you as well in the wonders of international space law, the wonders of advocacy, and the wonders of how governance works to resolve complex situations. So let me leave it with that. If you have any questions at all, please direct them either to the IISL Moot Court competition or to your regional organisers. We hope that you will enjoy participating. We hope that you will get so much out of it, as so many people have over the past 30 years. And we look forward to welcoming you in the regional rounds and hopefully seeing a lot of you also in Baku next year. So with that, I'll wish you well from Sydney. Good luck in the way you prepare for the case. Make sure that you register in a timely manner, and good luck in the competition. All the best from Sydney, and I hope that you find this competition as much fun and as stimulating as so many have before you. Thanks again, and take care and stay healthy. All the best from me. Bye-bye.
Hi, my name is Nathan Johnson, and I am the regional organizer for the North American round of the IISL Manfred Lachs Space Law Moot Court competition. I am also the executive director of the Space Court Foundation, the exclusive institutional administrator of the North American round. The Moot Court competition is an opportunity for students to get introduced to the larger space law community. Not only are you engaged in intensive study of space law through the examination of unique legal questions, but you get the opportunity to meet like-minded peers from across the continent and exposure to professionals in the field who volunteer their time to judge the competition. Our volunteers come from private practice, in-house counsel, academia, and government agencies, and they look forward to meeting students at the conclusion of the competition during the awards reception. The regional round is open to teams of 2 to 3 students from across North America who are enrolled in a law program or a degree-granting program involving international law. Further eligibility criteria is outlined in the official rules. Each team will prepare written and oral arguments for both the applicant and the respondent. Length of arguments are outlined in the regional rules. Registration opens in the fall and will be available on both the IISL Moot Court website and the Space Court Foundation website at spacecourtfoundation.org/LachsMoot. Important dates to remember include early registration and deadline for requests for clarification due on December 15th. Late registration closes on January 31st. Written memorials are due by email at the end of Friday, February 24th, and followed by oral arguments held in Washington, D.C. on Friday and Saturday, March 17th and 18th. This year, we hope to offer for the first time a special opportunity for registered teams to come into D.C. before the competition. Access to the Satellite Week Conference in Washington, D.C., which is held from March 13th to the 16th. We are also in the preliminary stages of designing a new career development workshop for competitors to take place during the competition. The winner of the North American round will go on to represent the region at the World Finals, which take place in the fall during the International Astronautical Congress. The World Final is judged by sitting justices of the International Court of Justice. And in North America, we work with sponsors like NASA to secure funding for the student competitors to travel and take part. If you have any questions about the competition, you can email me at laxmoot-northamerica@iisl.space and follow both the IISL and Moot Court online, as well as the Space Court Foundation. That includes if you have any questions about how to talk to your school about getting involved in the competition now or in the future. Thank you.
Greetings to all from the European Centre for Space Law, the European regional organizer of the Manfred Lachs Space Law Moot Court. How exciting is it that another year of the Moot Court is just about to start? So I'll be sharing a little bit of information on the European rounds of the upcoming Moot Court competition. And first things first, a question that we receive a lot. Do you need to study aerospace engineering? Do you need to be a technician? Do you need to be a scientist to participate in a space law moot court? And in fact, you do not need to be that. You need to study law. You need to have a bit of knowledge of public international law because you will be delving into one of the most exciting areas, in my opinion, of public international law, namely space law. That's the first thing. The second thing, registration. In the first or second week of October, we will be opening up the registration for the European rounds of the Moot Court. Prior to that, at the end of September, you'll receive information on where the rounds will be held, the oral rounds, and when these will be held. So every year, the European Centre for Space Law collaborates with a local co-organizer, a local university, and co-organizes the oral rounds of the European rounds of the Moot Court. So for example, this year we collaborated with the University of Vienna, and in the past we've collaborated with numerous universities from Paris to Rome and far beyond that. So keep your eyes open and look for the news end of September of where it will be held next year. You might be asking yourselves, where should you look? Well, the European Centre for Space Law has a dedicated web page in regards to the Moot Court. So if you just Google European Centre for Space Law and Manfred Lachs Space Law Moot Court, you'll find the web page and all information will be stated there. Should you have any doubts, questions, concerns, or just want to ask about space law in general, then please feel free to contact us under ecsl@isa.int. And we very, very much look forward to having your team register for the European rounds of the Moot Court. Why? Because this is truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and believe me, you will not regret it.
Greetings to the chairman and members of the Moot Court committee, and more importantly, the aspiring teams from various law universities and colleges from various countries of this region. My name is Gopal Krishnan. You can call me Gopal. I'm from India. At this moment, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to the Moot Court Committee for giving me the opportunity of serving the role of regional organizer for the 2023 rounds. Well, the Asia Pacific regional rounds has got a legacy. It has been successfully functioning for the last 24 years since its introduction in 1999. and it used to get maximum number of participation in a year. I think 35 or so in a year, and the winners of this regional rounds have won 9 times the world finals in the past. Coming to the conduct of the 2023 regional rounds, I would like to convey that it would be held as per the official rules of this region as in the past. That is, the Asia Pacific official rules given in the website. I request each and every team members to go through very carefully for effective participation. And I'm happy to inform that the 2023 and 2024 rounds would be held in Japan as per the initiatives taken by JAXA, the Japanese Space Agency. I recall, thankfully, the support that has been provided continuously by JAXA to the winning team of this regional rounds for their participation in the World Finals. And you all know the last 2 years, due to COVID effect, the regional rounds was held in virtual format. I have to consult with the host institution and JAXA about the mode of conduct of the 2023 rounds. I'm hopeful that it would be in physical participation mode. Nevertheless, it would be decided in consultation with the host institution and JAXA, and a decision would be taken soon. You all know the problem for the 2023 rounds has already been released in the website, and it is a case about the use of asset weapon in outer space, which is more contemporary, and it is being discussed in various international forums. So it would be very interesting for the teams while preparing the memorials and taking part in the oral rounds. With respect to the calendar and other details, it will be worked out and would be notified most probably in end October 2022. The registration format, the registration fee, the last date for submission of registration form, last date for submission of memorials, etc. would be notified in the website. I am again requesting the teams to keep a watch in the website for all these developments and respond appropriately, and also adhere to the deadlines given therein for every milestone. And I am hopeful that 2023 rounds would get maximum number of participations as in the past. Finally, I would like to convey my best wishes to each and every team. All the best. Thank you.
I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Nomfuneko Majaja. I live and work in South Africa, and I'm currently the regional coordinator for the Africa region for the Space Law Moot Court competition. Africa region is always excited about its participation in this mooting of this unique field of space law. The competition actually presents an opportunity for university students, especially students who are doing law, to actually study and debate on specific legal matters in conjunction with technical aspects in the fields of space, telecoms, and sometimes air law. This competition, we are seeing it as one of the entry points into the interest and the study of space law as a specialization. Some students who have participated in this competition have grown so much interest in broader aspects of space, which is very commendable. One student who was a coach in 2018, when South Africa won the Moot court in Bremen, Germany, has actually gone back to her country of origin, which was Zimbabwe, and has tried to spread as much as possible the word about space. And she is also involved in space applications, what space applications can be useful for her country, water, natural resources, which means just an entry into the space law can make one much more interested into this field of space. Maybe let me go back to tell you when and how did we start to participate in this Moot. We actually started in this Moot competition as the region in 2011. 2011 was the big year for Africa region because the IAC, the International Astronautical Congress, was held in South Africa, Cape Town, for the first time in the African continent. So we had the inaugural event participation during that year. I am mentioning IAC because the Moot court is hosted by the International Institute for Space Law, together with the International Astronautical Federation, which hosts the International Astronautical Congress. So ever since 2011, we haven't stopped. Instead, we have grown so much interest in this field, and so many students have participated. We have seen an exponential growth in many students and universities, and today more than 30 universities participate in this competition in Africa. But we are not chasing anybody away. We want more and more participation from other countries that have not yet participated. Since we are seeing this growth, we are encouraging national competitions. Nigeria started the nationals for the current year, with Zimbabwe planning their national competition next year. We're trying to filter through the students that will come for the regionals through the national competitions. The Nigerian competition was supported by the Nigerian Space Development and Research Agency called NASDRA, together with an NGO, Landspace. Originally, the competition in Africa has been supported by the Department of Trade and Industry and Competition, which is the national government that I work in, together with the South African Council for Space Affairs, which is the regulatory body in South Africa. The agency in South Africa has been supporting. However, due to challenging times after COVID and during COVID, we have seen some sponsors unable to assist us in this course. Some industries have also been helping us, and we are very much appreciative and thankful of their sponsorships. However, over the years, we're seeing the sponsorships, they are growing thinner and thinner, and would still request and appeal to the general industry to assist us with more sponsorships so that we can grow this competition to many other countries within the continent. We will be issuing out the schedule during October, November. It will be on the website, and it will be on the website of the South African Council for Space Affairs. So please be on the lookout. And we normally send emails to all teams that have participated before as well, so that we don't leave out anybody. But we are actually making a call this year to have as many teams as possible. We are also trying to make a call for certain countries with many teams to actually organize themselves within the country so that they can have a national competition, which will spill over to the regional competition. The schedule usually starts from October, November, as I've said, then the date for memorials, February, March, but we usually host the competition between May and June, June being the last option for us if there have been any other challenges. We're hoping that next year, with financial circumstances helping, we would host a physical or a virtual and a physical competition. This year, we couldn't host a physical competition. However, we managed to bring together all the judges in one venue here in South Africa, in Pretoria, and that helped us so much for us to have at least the judging team being together in one room and being able to discuss how to go around with the judging process. Having said all that, I think I want to wish all the teams that would like to participate next year all the best. And we are excited as the region. We will be heading to Paris for next week. That's where the finals will be held. And we will be represented by the Midlands State University of Zimbabwe that has won the regionals for this year. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Hello, everybody. My name is Laura Gamarra, and on behalf of the Moot Court Committee of the International Institute of Space Law, and RELACA, which is the Latin American Space Network, I want to invite you to participate in the Latin American round of the Manfred Lachs Space Law Moot Court competition. As you know, this international competition has the unique distinction of being judged in its final round by a 3-judge panel of sitting judges of the International Court of Justice. It's an amazing opportunity for students to develop their skills, technique, and poise required to practice international law. Now, to mention, space law the cases in space law take place in the future, so it approaches international law from a space law perspective, which gives students significant experience handling real-world issues in international law. Traditionally, competition had 4 geographic regions: Africa, Asia, Europe, and North America. We came with the Latin American round into the official competition in 2020. So far, we have had 3 official rounds. The last one was held in Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. This competition is held entirely in English, therefore is an excellent opportunity for students who want to build this kind of competency in English communication. It's a unique opportunity for teams of 2 to 3 students to engage in matters of public international law of relevance to today's society. We hope that you will join us. If you have any questions, please contact us. We'll be very happy to hear from you. Dr. Jairo Becerra, the regional organizer, and myself are happy and welcome to answer any questions. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Hi, everyone. My name is Batuhan Betin, otherwise known as Bat, and I'm joined here by my teammate, Harry Stratton. We were the world champions of last year's Manfred Lachs Moot Court competition. We were actually two of the three members of our team. Unfortunately, our third teammate, Claire Parkhouse, can't join us today due to a clash with her professional commitments, but she sends her best wishes as well. Briefly to introduce ourselves, Harry works as a barrister in a leading barristers' chambers in London called 1 Essex Court. And I myself have just finished a stint as a research assistant at my university, while I also did a internship at the European Space Agency simultaneously, and I'm now focused on publishing academia. Most recently, I was published by Oxford University Press for an article on energy arbitration. So we represented a team from the European region, the team for the Honourable Society of the Inner Temple, which is a team which belongs to the United Kingdom. It's quite ironic that neither Harry nor I have a British accent, and we represented the team with my transatlantic accent and Harry's lovely singing Australian accent. We're here today because we've been asked to give you some advice regarding some tips and pointers about the Moot as you move forward to this year's edition of the Moot, and also to reflect on our experiences. So I'm going to ask Harry to start off, and then I'll make some further points. So Harry, without further ado, please kick us off.
G'day guys, and welcome to this year's competition. We're really psyched to have you. I guess there's three pieces of advice that I wanted to give you. The first piece of advice is about the facts. You have a limited time to do this Moot, and a limited time in your life before you shuffle off this mortal coil. The best investment of that time is getting really good at the facts. It's way more important than the law. Judges are more likely to have read the facts. Facts are more engaging than law. You can show the judges the facts right there and then. A good factual argument is much better than a strictly correct legal argument. And so one of the slightly ridiculous things we did to familiarize ourselves with the facts was sit around in a circle and chant out every word of the facts together, which is creepy and cult-like, but you will see something that you hadn't seen before. So that's my first piece of advice.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't stress that enough, that the judges, having judged these competitions myself, they don't always have the time to familiarize themselves with the law. Although you will be judged most likely by experts in this field, they may not know every specific detail about the contents of your specific Moot. They will also have a bench memorial to assist them. But again, based on my own anecdotal experience, those things are not always drafted to the highest standard. So you can use those facts really to put together a persuasive argument that moves the judge, to your point. One thing which I want to say in addition to that, in kind of working the judge, is be prepared for the types of questions that may come up in judicial intervention, because it will happen. It will happen in your regional rounds, it will happen in the world rounds, and you will have a lot of it in the finals of your regional round as well. And the way you do this is you quite literally reflect and think about the weaknesses in your argument and what a judge might want to know more about. Never run away from the judicial intervention. Always embrace it and try to answer it to the best of your abilities. And perhaps the best way to do that is to draft a pre-written answer that you memorize to a specific question. And when that comes up, you can go ahead and answer it very clearly. One last point that I would say is whenever you're using the facts of the moot problem, make sure that you pinpoint the judge to the specific paragraph in the moot problem. It helps create an ethos of just trust in what you're saying, and it makes your submissions just sound more eloquent and articulate as well. Do the same when you're relying on judgments of the ICJ or any other international tribunal. So I'll hand back to Harry for his second piece of advice.
Hey guys, so look, the second thing I wanted to say to you was taking the text seriously. All of law is about figuring out what words on a page mean. Most space law in particular is about the interpretation of treaties. And so wringing the most juice you can out of that text and being the team that engages with the text is the thing that will put you ahead. Set out the provision in your written submissions. Think about the grammatical meaning of the provision, the object and purpose of the provision, how you can test bits and interpretations to potentially absurd consequences. That is the kind of stuff that judges can see what you're doing straight away just from the language and feel that you've really engaged with this body of law, whereas actually you don't have to do that much research at all. You're just wringing meaning out of individual words. So that's my second piece of advice for you.
Another textual tool you'll be using, it's United Nations resolutions and General Assembly resolutions in particular. And if you know anything about Bin Chang's commentary on the existence of instant customary international law, you will be relying on these resolutions. My biggest piece of advice when you do rely on these resolutions is to know the voting record, and beforehand, if one of these resolutions has been adopted unanimously, tell your judge that. And you do this because it's much more persuasive to say that a unanimously adopted resolution is reflectory or declaratory of customary law than it is to say that one resolution that's been, just barely made it through, reflects customary international law. So know your voting records. It's one piece of advice that I think Harry actually taught me when we were practicing the moot. So I've stolen that from him. But go ahead, Harry. What's your third and final piece of advice?
So this is the most important. It is to relax and smile, because if you smile, the world smiles with you. This is meant to be a fun activity. It's not meant to feel like a trip to the dentist. It's definitely not meant to look like a trip to the dentist, even if you feel like your teeth are being pulled out one by one. And seeming like the team that is having fun and the team that's friendly and happy to be there is the first step to building a relationship with your judges. And I would say this about myself, definitely, that I'm definitely not the brainiest person doing this competition, but just being a friendly and smiling face and being the person who's willing to say, I don't have a precise answer on that, but what I can tell you is can get you across the line sometimes and win you moots that you otherwise would not have won.
Well, Harry's modesty is only surpassed by his wholesome nature based on that last piece of advice. I'm going to say something perhaps a bit more brazen, but I'm going to invite you to be brave. And, in these competitions, the judges love to hear an original argument about the existence of a customary rule or a general principle of law, which they should apply, when resolving the matter. So, be brave and try to find evidence of state practice and opinio juris and make an argument about the existence of a customary rule if you think that's what's necessary. I'm afraid I haven't looked at this year's problem, so I don't know if that's needed, but we did it, and I think it was Harry who did it in his submissions especially, and he made a very persuasive argument there. So I would urge you to replicate that approach. Finally, I guess, some reflections, and again, I'll hand back to Harry. What would you reflect upon?
Well, I guess I think everyone here likes advocacy and you like law, and you know that going in, that if you like those things, you'll like this activity. But maybe the thing you haven't realized yet is you're going to spend months of your life thinking about an imaginary space crash. And all your friends and family will think that's kind of strange and not really understand what you're doing. But then at the end, you will meet a bunch of other people from all over the world, people you might never have otherwise met, people otherwise you might not have much in common with, and they will have spent those same months thinking about an imaginary space crash. You're meeting these people who are passionate about the same things you are, and you have these immediate things in common, even if it is only shared suffering. So I think that is one of the unexpected joys of mooting and this moot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say that really, focusing on what Harry said, that you're going to spend months on this problem, you're going to become really good friends with your teammates. And I think you'll learn a lot from them. I know I learned a ton from Harry and Claire. And things that went just beyond advocacy or the moot, but things that I use while writing my dissertation or doing any other type of, academic or vocational project. For me, that was probably, the biggest highlight. And if you make it to the finals, you'll get to moot in front of the judges of the International Court of Justice. They might not remember who you are if you meet them later. I can say from an anecdotal experience. So, but yeah, guys, those are our tips to you from across the pond. And so Harry from London and myself from Geneva, we're going to be signing off. We wish you all the best of luck, and we hope you get involved in this year's competition.
And welcome to our weird little community. You'll run into the same faces again and again in this weird little community, and we'd love to see you back on this side of the bench in future years. Thanks so much, guys.
Goodbye.
Thank you again for watching the orientation video for the 2023 IISL Manfred Lachs Space Law Moot Court Competition. Information on this year's problem, as well as all the regions, can be found on the IISL website, mootcourt.iisl.space. Good luck, and we hope to see you in the competition. This court is now adjourned.